Thank you, Madam Chair. It's great pleasure and honor to address this session of the World Trade Organization, which is taking place under what I call a new normal ambience triggered by the current affairs of COVID-19 pandemic and other global crises. I want to also convey warm greetings to you all from Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. On behalf of my delegation, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the WTO and the co-host governments for preparation and the warm welcome we have received since our arrival in Geneva. Madam Chair, I feel honored to share our views with the members on this session regarding the challenge facing the multilateral trading system. Indeed, the WTO multilateral trading system is facing enormous challenge, stemming mainly from the lack of trust and political will among members. These two factors have slowed down the speed of WTO to respond to the relevant needs of its members and affect the negotiations and implementation of WTO obligations and decisions. Consequently, WTO failed to fulfill long-standing promises of Doha Development Agenda issues which are of a great interest to majority of WTO members and hence further widened the mistrust among members. At the time when the negotiating factions of WTO were struggling to deliver meaningful results, the dispute settlement system, which was considered fairly performing well, was also stumbled. Furthermore, the lack of political will is timely respond to challenges of COVID pandemic. It has underlined the mistrust among members. Madam Chair, some members believe that WTO reform is necessary to address the challenges facing the multilateral trading system. However, in our view, reforms alone without building trust among members will not remedy the organization from further paralysis. To build the trust, members need political will to address long-standing concerns of members, including the implementation of agreed decisions. It is important for members to revisit the objectives of the establishment of WTO enshrined in the Marrakesh Agreement. Certainly, reform is important for organizations to evolve and adapt to the paradigm of the world, social, political, and economic dynamics. Therefore, United Republic of Tanzania will support any reform that ensure balance the interests of members while according particular attention to develop needs of developing countries and LDCs, with a view to achieve the broad objectives of rising global living standards, fighting against hunger and poverty, attaining full employment, and promoting sustainable development. Madam Chair, the desired reforms needs to safeguard the core principle enshrined in the Marrakesh Agreement. It should not trigger the infringement of rights, obligations, and preference of members, such as the special and preferential treatments and policy space enlisted in various WTO agreements. My delegation is strongly convinced that through your able leadership, we will be able to bridge minor differences left in the draft decision. On behalf of the African Group and my delegation, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the Chair of the TRIPS Council, His Excellency Dr. Lansana, Ambassador of the Sierra Leone, to the WTO for his steadfast leadership in facilitating text-based negotiations on TRIPS waiver for COVID-19. I would like also to extend our appreciation to the WTO Director General Dr. Ngozi for her initiatives of establishing a quad group process when negotiations on the subject matter in the large membership was in a blockage. We recommend the Quad members for their commitment and endeavor to produce the draft outcome, W688. The Quad outcome was not perfect. Nevertheless, we found that it can be a useful instrument to address the inequity supply of COVID-19 vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnosis. Facilitator, the current draft text contains few brackets, which it should not take us long to clear. The African Group is looking for a comprehensive instrument that will meaningfully address the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, the African Group would like to assert the following. 1. The definition of the subject matter of a patent in footnote 2 should be an open list and not exhaustive, and therefore we want to retain the word includes and means. We want an open list so that to allow all materials and processes for production of COVID-19 vaccine will be availed without legal ambiguities. Therefore, the African group supports the original Quad formulation to be maintained. Second, the scope of the decision should cover vaccine, therapeutics, and diagnosis as a comprehensive approach to address the COVID-19 pandemic in a meaningful and holistic manner. Therefore, we should lift out the bracket in paragraph 8, at least by maintaining the text from Quad with the word will, although a strong commitment with the word shall instead could demonstrate to the world the WTO commitment to address COVID-19 pandemics is meaningful. It will send a positive signal that WTO is back and ready to address the difficult challenges for its members. For the African group, its commitment is important. This commitment is important and carries the overall balance and weight of this decision. Third, the duration of the instrument in paragraph 6 should be workable. The African group prefer at least a period of not less than 5 years to allow feasible investment duration for manufacturing plant. Fourth, footnote 5, which provide clarifications of paragraph 5 and the bracket words if possible to notify before any shipment, we find they are not necessary to be included. The spirit and letter of the original paragraph is self-explanatory. The paragraph was crafted to unburden eligible members from being engrossed in procedural matters. However, African group can accept to leave with their inclusion in the text should other members remove the remaining bracket. Facilitator, these are key issues which we would like to bring to the attention of fellow ministers for their positive consideration. We are not demanding ambitious aspects of the instrument, but within the elements emerged from the Quad process. We believe these issues are doable and will not prolong the conclusion of the decision. I thank you, Chair.